In this video, we provide a brief introduction to subprograms. So first of all, what exactly do we mean by a subprogram? Well, in essence, it's simply a block of code which you give a unique, identifiable name within a program. We use subprograms for a number of reasons, but mainly it's to break down a larger problem into a series of smaller, more manageable problems. There's many benefits. They're easier to code, they're easier to debug and test in isolation, and they make for great code reuse. Now, we're only providing an introduction in this video. We're going to cover subprograms in a lot more detail in a later video under topic 6b. So let's take a look at this Python program. The first thing you'll notice is that there are several indented blocks of code starting with the word def. And you can see those four here. These are what we call subprograms. Now in reality, these will be either what we call procedures or functions, but that's outside the scope of this video and we're going to discuss that later. But here we can see four subprograms, and in Python they start with the word def followed by a name. So we have the subprogram initialize, output 1, output 2 and adjust. You'll see the actual main program starts towards the end underneath all the subprograms. So as we mentioned, the program starts down here with a comment line, which obviously is skipped. And then we hit what we call a subprogram call. And this means that when we hit the word initialize with the parentheses, it looks through the program to find a subprogram with the same matching name. The program then jumps off to that subprogram and starts executing the code within it. When we reach the last line of code in a subprogram, we automatically return to the point where we left the main program. So in the main program we did initialize, we then jumped off to the initialize subprogram, and now we return to the main program, and the next line to execute is the while line. You can see that once we enter the while loop, the 3 lines of code are actually calls to the other subprograms, output 1, output 2 and adjust. And so we jump off as appropriate to the different subprograms, run through the code internally, and when we reach the end of the subprogram, we return from where we left off. Now it is possible that you can cause a subprogram to return early before reaching the end, and this is done with a return line. But again, this is something outside the scope of this video, and we'll look at that in more detail when we discuss procedures and functions in a later video. So pause the video now and take some summary notes on what you've learned. You'll note at the bottom of this slide, we actually mention the 2 types of subprograms, procedures and functions, which we mentioned briefly in the earlier video. Don't worry if you don't fully understand this section, because as mentioned, we're going to go through it in more detail in a video under topic 1b.